Well, my name is Roxane Webster.
And I'm Keith Alba.
We are with my home team at Keller Williams Advantage Realty.
That's right, we're the partners and owners of that. And you're here tuned in for another episode of
The Honest Hour. Woo!
That's right. It's our weekly kind of video blog that we put out, just kind of giving you our perspective, our thoughts, our insight on the real estate market and really anything that touches real estate.
So, of course, we'd love for you to go over and hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell notification. Ding.
Important. You want to get that ding?
You want to get that ding, and then you want to share it with everybody because we think it's rather spectacular.
Yeah, we think it's very riveting and informational.
And a low spin environment. I say low spin because I sometimes from spin.
Yeah, for sure. So what's on the docket for today?
You know, we just took a wire fraud class that kind of loosened my belt. What can I say?
It could have that effect on you, yeah. Especially when you talk about the dollars. You know, I mean, you're talking multiple digits that these scammers are getting out of people on a regular basis.
So what is wire fraud, sir?
So essentially what we're seeing is these people with ill intent are hacking into somebody's email account during the course of the transaction. And these people are educated, they're smart, they understand the real estate transactions, and they in the weeds and wait. And they're waiting, watching and tracking the transaction until the opportune time. And in that opportune time, they jump in there and they're essentially providing documentation and information to the party that's going to be wiring, funds in for a closing, or potentially even trying to get the seller's proceeds after the closing has occurred, and direct those to their account offshore somewhere so that they can go live the high life off of somebody else's hard-earned money.
The instances of wire fraud last year, in the past 12 months, are up 17%.
It's no joke. I mean, like we were talking about, we were kidding about the dollar amounts on it, but most of these things are originating in, say, third world countries out there, right? And so that is multiple years' salaries for some of these people. And so they've gotten really good at it, and they're very committed at continuing to keep trying.
So we just wanted to talk a little bit about what are some of the red flags to look for with wire fraud and protecting yourself in the transaction and your hard-earned dollars from it. Just to say, for starters, a properly sent and securely sent wire is still a really, really safe transaction.
Yeah, I mean, so long as the data going into it is good, right? There's no way to intercept that wire or get into it. But the big key is you've got to make sure it's originating from the right bank and going to the right account. And that going part is where they're getting their opportunities. And so the things you want to look out for are very similar to some of the old scams that were out there. I mean, the tells that they're giving are pretty open in some cases, right? So look for misspellings. Look for weird grammar,
punctuation,
miscapitalization, things along those lines. Just when you're dealing with these kinds of money, have your guard up and examine the information that's coming to you. Just because it looks like it's coming from your real estate agent or the title company that's involved, or maybe even your lender, right? Be sure that you investigate that information.
The type of stuff that you might see, for instance, let's say you've got a closer, Susie at title1.com, right? You might see an email that comes from susie.title1@gmail.com. So it's got enough of her email address correct that you just kind of skim past it because of the speed with which we all live our lives. And before you know it, then there's a phone number. You're saying, this looks a little weird. I'll just call Susie and make sure this is what I need to do. And you're calling a phone number where the scammer is sitting waiting for your call and saying, oh, no, that's perfect. Send that wire on over. And once a wire is gone, with few exceptions, it's gone, right? Because what's happening is you're sending money to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is then directing it to wherever you told it to go.
Right.
And if the FBI and the CBI get involved immediately, really quickly, in some rare instances, they're able to stop that and interrupt it. But for the most part, once a wire is sent, it's sent.
Right. And then what these scammers are doing, as soon as it hits that bank account, they're got it set up to be, forwarded off, maybe to multiple different accounts, maybe into, say, cryptocurrencies or, different places along those lines, which then all of a sudden it makes it almost next to impossible to track. So yeah, if you do find yourself as a victim of it, you got to get the Colorado Bureau of Investigation involved as soon as possible, because that's going to be your best chance of getting it. So
that's exactly it. And if you see anything weird in a transaction, call us immediately, right? Part of what makes these wires work is that, these scams work, is that they'll say, hey, if you want your closing to happen on time, you need to make this adjustment, right? And you're thinking, oh God, I don't want my closing to get delayed, and you move quickly. If you get any type of language like that creates any urgency like that, pick up the phone and call us personally, not the phone number in the email,
right.
Us.
When you got stored, the one that we've been using to communicate throughout the whole transaction, use a known phone number that's there. Obviously, Roxane and I are available for our clients. We've got our right hand Karen that is always around. Use one of those phone numbers, give us a call. If we don't know, what we can do is give you the actual number to the closer that it may or may not have sent that email, and we can get a verbal verification of what those wiring instructions should be. And making sure you're talking to the right person and then getting that verification is a great way to ensure that you're protecting yourself as much as possible against this wire fraud stuff.
That's it. So once again, go over and hit the subscribe button, share this with everyone.
And keep your cards up, right? There's a lot of people that are coming after your money, and we want to make sure that you don't give it away too easily.
Thanks.
See you next time.